Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Friday, the 28th of July, 2023. I'm Sean Aylmer. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 was having a pretty good week. In fact, it was having a great week, but today it fell 0.7% to 7,404 points, with the property companies leading the way lower. They were the companies that did best yesterday. Bit of a reversal today. Materials and consumer discretionary companies also struggled, while energy and utilities were among the best performing stocks. Of the top 30 on the ASX, 25 lost ground, led by Fortescue Metals, which tumbled around 5%. Goodman Group, Aristocrat Leisure, Newcrest Mining, Rio Tinto and Telstra all fell sharply. The best of the large caps was Macquarie Group. Story number 2, retail spending fell in June by 0.8%, according to the Australian Bureau of Statistics, well below market expectations. That was enough to push bond yields down, with traders saying there's now about a 25% chance of a rate hike when the Reserve Bank Board meets next Tuesday. The figures today were enough for some market economists to say there won't be a rate hike next Tuesday. Of course, expectations are much lower, not just because of the retail spending figures today, but also Wednesday's weaker than expected inflation figures. Now, some of the reasons for the weak June numbers seems to be that the May numbers were really strong. Retailers put on extra discounting and promotional activity in May, and things fell off a little in June. That's according to the ABS. Anyway, the big reversals came in department stores, clothing and household goods, while takeaway food sales increased. It all points to higher interest rates working to slow the economy. Story number 3, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese today said the government will reintroduce its $10 billion housing bill into the House of Representatives once Parliament resumes next week. The bill is expected to be debated and passed through the lower house before it moves to the Senate. If it's rejected for the second time within 3 months, it will fulfil the requirements needed for a double dissolution. That gives the government the option to call for an early election, which would dissolve both houses of Parliament and send voters to the polls. As it stands, the bill was rejected by the Coalition and the Greens in June. The Coalition argued the bill's social housing provisions don't go far enough. Deputy Liberal leader Susan Ley said the government should focus on tackling inflation instead of making threats about an early election. Albanese refused to rule out the possibility of a double dissolution today. While he said a potential election would not happen this year, he said it was up to the Coalition and the Greens to remove the trigger by passing the bill in the Senate. The bill aims to inject about 30,000 new social and affordable homes into the market over 5 years through an annual $500 million investment. Story number 4, BHP Australia boss Geraldine Slattery has warned that the Albanese government's same job, same pay rules for labour hire threatens the country's ability to exploit critical minerals for the energy transition. The proposed rules deliver a $3 billion blow to the miners' copper plans, according to a report in the Financial Review. Slattery said the proposed laws, which will ensure labour hire workers earn the same as the direct workforce, risks exacerbating an unsustainable situation where labour costs doubled while productivity plummeted. Slattery argues Australia should become more competitive as the need for batteries to electric vehicles, wind turbines and electricity infrastructure drives unprecedented demand for critical minerals such as copper and nickel. And story number 5, the era of global warming has ended and the era of global boiling has arrived, according to the United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres. His comments overnight came after scientists said July is on track to be the hottest month on record. The past 3 weeks have been the hottest since records began, globally that is, and July is likely to be the hottest month ever. Guterres said it's still possible to limit global temperature rises to 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels and avoid the very worst of climate change, but only with dramatic immediate climate action. That's it for the afternoon report for Friday, the 28th of July, 2023. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Join Michael Thompson and I tomorrow morning for the Weekend Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your evening.